city you burn, I'm gonna build one high.
Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and it is December 12th, YC125, and this is the Eve Universe Show! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome if you are new. Settle in, like the stream. How you guys doing? Today, it is Tuesday. We did have a patch. I do want to go over some of that stuff. We do have a new site. Although, full disclosure, I have seen no actual site information about the site other than what we already saw last week in last week's episodes. So while I do kind of want to go try and experiment with it, I don't even know if we're going to get to that today. I have actually no idea how today is going to go. I am barely kind of like making sure to get everything together. It's it's middle of December. There's so many things going on. I had Christmas shopping already today. Anywho, but there are things to go over, and I do want to go over them. But before I do, I'm going to do the traditional gaming YouTuber who has an audience and a platform who ostensibly only want to hear them talk about gaming, that has something about the real world that they want to complain about. So here you go. Ready? Not complain about, but I had an interesting encounter today on my way to the store. I went to McDonald's because McDonald's is, on the way to the Walmart and it's cheap and I love the McGriddle. So I go in there and I get a McGriddle meal. Now, I've been getting McGriddle meals for a long time. In fact, I've gotten it at that location several times with the meal. And what I found really odd before was that they would ask me what size of coffee I wanted. And when I asked them what the price was, they'd always be like, oh, it doesn't matter, whatever. And so I'd be like, I guess the largest one. And then I'd get the largest one. And I remember this because, like, I had to ask, excuse me. At first, I misestimated how much creamer and sugar I needed, right? So, like, I had to go back and get more creamer and sugar because it was so much coffee. It was like twice as much coffee as I was expecting. And this has happened like 3 or 4 times already, right? Going back to McDonald's, although I've learned to compensate. So today I go in and I order my meal and it is listed as $7.99. Okay. I have the receipt right here. So it's listed at $7.99 and it shows like the sandwich and the coffee and the hash brown and that's it. Right. So that's cool. I order that and they're like, what do you want for your drink? And I go, the coffee. And they go, okay, well, creamer and sugar. And, I say my normal amount, my normal increased amount. And they're like, okay, great. And they say, it's going to be $8.28. Now, I don't live in a state that has sales tax. So, like, it says $8. It should be $8. So I, like, question her about it. And then, hey, Vicky. So I've been asking, so I asked her about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, there's a 29-cent upcharge," and she couldn't tell me why. And she asked me if I still wanted it, and I was like, "Yes, I'm not going to let 29 cents stop me from." Thank you, Sam. I'm not going to let them stop me with 30 cents. So fine, I'll get it. But I was curious, so I made sure to get the receipt, and I look on the receipt, and it says that I get my sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle for $7.99. 1 medium premium roast, 29 cents drink upcharge. So at first I thought like, oh, well, maybe it's the creamer and sugar. But no, the difference between a cup of coffee and a soda is 29 cents. So I had to pay an extra 29 cents to get my coffee within the combo, which means in order to get the combo that is shown on the picture, you have to pay extra. Because there is no normal coffee, right? There wasn't like, oh, do you want the normal coffee or the premium roast? There's only premium roast. So if you order the meal as pictured, you do not pay the number that is on the board. That's weird. It's just weird. It is 26 cents. But like, it's kind of things like that. It's like, wait, That's literally, I'm not asking for something special. I'm not asking for a frappe or anything like that. I'm asking for the thing that's in the picture. All right. I'm done. That's it. Sorry. Thank you for my tangent. Oh, it's just 26 cents. It is absolutely true that it is just 26 cents. The sweet tea has enough caffeine that I never get coffee. False advertisement. Exactly. It was so confusing to me in that moment because the problem was is that I actually have a lot of cash right now because I was handed cash by my son's mom in order to go Christmas shopping. So I had $8, and so I was going to hand them $8, but now I need 28 cents more. So it wasn't just 8 cents or 28 cents. It was a whole nother dollar that I needed to have. Anyway, whatever. Ever seen the film Falling Down? I have not. Sue for 26 cents. Exactly. Where I live, you'd have paid an extra 15 cents in taxes. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, true. But you would have paid 15 cents in taxes on the 28 cent upcharge. So you would have paid 30 cents at least. Think about that. All right. It's just so weird. It's so weird. But also, like, the thing that gets me about it is that I looked all over the board. There's nothing that says anything about it at all, anywhere. And as I said, up until today, every single time I've gone in, it's been a totally different experience and rules. So it's almost as if they... Oh, also, the other weird thing about it was when they handed me my coffee, she goes, here's your medium coffee. Like, specifying that it's a medium coffee, even though I always get the large because the large, they're all the same price. So you might as well get the largest one. So they gave me a medium one and charged me more for it. And, like, I don't know when this changed or if this changed or if they were doing it wrong before or what, but it's weird. It's weird. It's just weird. I'm not mad. I'm not trying to sue. I had a moment and I had to share it with you guys. All right. So let's set up. I really wanted to set the tone for how today's going to go. Class action lawsuit. Everybody who's bought coffee in the last week is owed $1. All right. So patch notes. Today was a pretty big patch. There's two significant changes that came from today, which is there is a new insurgency site, which is known as the Ice Refinery Heist, which has been added, new activity added to pirate insurgencies. It is a large fleet-oriented site that will spawn when corruption and suppression reaches stage 3 and 4. The Ice Heist will share LP reward for up to 30 pilots before being diminished. It will now allow T1, T2, and T3 ships of battleship size and below to enter. So it's basically an advanced large, depending on if you're pirate, opposing militia member, or neutral player will determine where you land in the site. So much like the battlefields in faction warfare, neutral players will get a suspect timer upon entering. To succeed in the Ice Heist, players will need to be within 5,000 meters of the new guided tanker object and using the radial menu, right-click menu, or selected item, start guidance on the tanker, and it'll start flying towards their faction's loading bay scaffolding for extraction. Okay, so you don't actually need to hack them. There's a new ability, right? The point was the McGriddle, though. The coffee was a bonus. It's true. I did like the McGriddle. I'm not displeased with my purchase, although $8 for that whole meal is pretty ridiculous, but that's the world we live in. Groups will earn 1 point for each tanker ship guided to their respective home bases. The first side to reach 10 points will be rewarded and will increase corruption suppression accordingly. A tanker can only be guided by one player. If the tanker will stop being guided if the ship guiding it is no longer within 10 kilometers or is destroyed. Be aware that there are opposing NPCs which focus ships which are guiding tankers. That's number one. We have this new battlefield-style escort mission that's going on. Now, it does not say, even though this is related to the winter event, in a weird way. And we're going to have to look at the terminology for this, but it doesn't look like this is actually like a temporary site, right? This looks like it could potentially be just a permanent site. And it makes not just like during the course of the winter event. There is nothing here to suggest that it would end at the end of the winter event. Air daily goals. Air now presents daily goals, a perfect opportunity to gain rewards for activities you're already doing or have something to do when you're unsure what to do next. After each downtime, players are assigned a set of 4 daily goals, each aligning with distinct career paths: Explorer, Industrialist, Enforcer, and Soldier of Fortune. The set of goals is the same for all players each day. Successful completion of these goals reward players with both ISK and Evermarks. Players who accomplish at least 2 of the 4 daily goals are additionally granted skill points. The Air Daily Goal interface has been integrated into the Air Opportunities window. ISK rewards are taxed by the player corporation, and Evermark rewards are duplicated, giving the same amount of Evermarks to the player as well as the player corporation. That's standard affair. All claimed corporation projects and Air Daily Goal rewards that are older than 30 days will be claimed automatically. That's good. This process will start January 2024. Air Daily Goals replaces the Daily Challenges system. Okay, so in the beginning, players were really unhappy with the idea of like daily tasks or dailies and whatnot. It was very frowned upon, but a lot of things have changed back then. In the original one, it was just go out and kill 1 NPC, I think it was. Maybe it was 10. I think it was just 1. And that went on for a while, and then it came back as like, I think it was just called Skills for Kills back then. And then there's been times where that's come back, and that eventually evolved into the opportunity or the daily goals, which has had a lot of, fire for a couple of reasons. One, because a lot of people don't value the Evermarks so much as a reward, especially if that's all they're getting. And 2, there was a lot of Abyss. Most of the tasks were Abyss related, and so a lot of people felt pigeonholed into the Abyss that they weren't necessarily comfortable or wanting to do. And I guess 3, because people had different tasks, it wasn't really easy to find other people to work on tasks with, right? So that's pretty much what they're trying to, it's called Skilling Spree. They're attempting to revamp that again. Let's go ahead and look at that. We have down here opportunities, but this is not actually, this is just the quest that I'm on. If we go to the opportunities window and go to home and then make it so you guys can see it. Here we have the opportunities window, and we see Air Daily Goals, scan 5 signatures, mine 2,000 units of ore, destroy 5 non-capsuleers, and armor repair other capsuleers. So we're seeing like these are fairly reasonable tasks. Anybody who's doing exploration, scanning 5 signatures is like somewhere between 1 to 3 systems, whatever. You don't have to actually like go to them or run the sites or anything. You just have to scan them down. Mine 2,000 units of ore is pretty quick if you're a miner, so that makes sense. Destroy 25 non-capsuleers. That's not that many. That's 1 Abyss run. That's less than 1 mission. That's probably you could get most of that in a single anomaly. And armor repair other capsuleers. This is even just cheesable, right? Because like you could just have, you can shoot another capsuleer and then rep them up with a remote armor repper, right? You could just stick a drone on your buddy, like duel him, throw a drone on him, and then repair him as you're attacking him, and then be done. Both of you can do it to each other, and you're done. So, like, definitely not unreasonable stuff. And it just gets people out there and working together. And of course, both you and your friend will both need this task. So there you go. Air would like data to help understand why it still persists when death is only temporary. Wait, well, hold on. Human cooperation is theorized to have emerged to compensate for your fragility. Air would like data to help understand why it still persists when death is only temporary. Wow, that's an odd way of putting that. The daily goals did not register this morning until I restarted Steam. Yeah, I heard that some people were not getting them until they actually tracked the reward, and some of the people were getting kills weren't counting fully. There's probably some bugs that are still in here because it's new. Go ahead and submit bug reports if you experience anything. Or, there's probably a website or a forum page. Let's see if there's get to it real easily. General feedback, known issues. Known issues. Wormhole scanning not being counted for air career program. Definitive, lots of things have been fixed. Bob and Factfire battlefields share the same system. Their icons are placed on top of each other. Launching a bomber. Wait, hold on. This is the same. Yeah, this is from 28 days ago. Never mind. Do we have anything from today? Nope. Just Havoc. All right, well, whatever. Seems like we all, yes, we all have the same exact missions. Correct. If you get a K-Cup machine, you can use the 26-cent save lawyer. I do have a K-Cup machine, actually. And I did have a K-Cup, like, in fact, not only do I have a K-Cup machine, but I have one of the ones that you, like, refill, so that way I don't actually use real K-Cups. Because screw that. Yeah, so, I mean, these look pretty reasonable. I know there's some people that are complaining about it, but, you know, people are going to complain about anything. What kind of rewards do we get for it? 500,000 ISK and 500 Evermarks. I mean, I do wish, I think, didn't they suggest that these were going to escalate? I would have really liked it if do these escalate? Does anybody know? Like if I mine 2,000 units of ore. Hold on. Do I have? Let's go see what happens. What could possibly go wrong? No escalation, that would be too convenient. Once you claim it, it's done? That's lame. I want escalating rewards. I want to go like 2 or 3 layers deep. Units of ore should be M3. Well, that's to make it so that not all ore is created equal, right? Some ore is really, really easy to get a bunch of units of, 2,000 units of. Some of it is not. And I think that that's intentional. I don't even know what that is. But no, I don't actually like to use like the K-cups themselves. They make a lot of trash. Oh no, I have no prop. Why don't I have prop? All right, well, as we're burning, we will look at more patch notes. You can't even see it anyways. Cheesed it by strapping remote. Yeah, that's what I was suggesting. Just to do the units in ore null, it's a lot of biscuit. Yeah. No, yeah. That's fine. Patch notes. Final little things as I inch towards this rock. The Angel Cartel and Gris's Pirate Epic arcs have been reset back to their original standings. The final end of the arc now granting 30% faction bonuses again. The missions are once again 90-day cooldowns before they can be repeated. Zarzak has gained more office spaces now in its 64 slots. Notably, Zarzak has not lost their bubbles. Vanguard's First Strike reward is now available and can be claimed on the NES. Okay. And the Arkham skin can now be applied to both regular capsules and the Genolution Aural 197 variant. And then added and missing tooltip for descriptions, epic arc opportunity images, sometimes being too bright, automatically tracked missions, and travel-based objective change would not be available when a mission was tracked in the offer, whatever. Little bug fixes. Cool. So those are the major changes of the day. And we're getting up to this belt. I don't really care what I mine. I'll leave the dense feldspar to somebody who cares. Yeah. Well, Aaron, I think that that's actually kind of interesting, though, right? That makes it so that the people that are like, the more into the game you are, the deeper into it you are, the harder what you're doing is. Technically, the more, like, the better the ore that you're mining, the more you have to mine in order to complete it. I don't know if that's, and that kind of makes sense. Hear me out. Because a lot of the people that are going to be mining Veldspar in order to get their reward are going to be doing it in like ventures, right? Whereas a lot of the people that are actually mining in nullsec should probably be doing so in at least a mining barge. I think that that's one fair argument. But it is kind of interesting. Although I think that also part of mining, like part of the whole gameplay of mining that a lot of people don't appreciate is learning about the differences between all the different rocks, the size, the yields, the ratios, the locations. You know, these are there is a lot of nuance to them. Not all, you know, and rocks are not created equal in different ways. So, all right. Has anybody actually done any of the new sites though? That's what I'm curious about. Can we even get the new sites yet? Keep an eye on the agency or went. Hold on. Keep an eye over here for the opportunities. Is this? Hold on. Home. Mine. Track. Ah. Cool. We'll see that. Fill up in a second. In the meantime, find objectives. Do we have any? I guess it has to be corruption 3, right? Mining op. Nope. Why would I do the sites if there's ice to mine? Balancing efficiency with risk in null in mining is where the fun comes in. It's fairly true. Speaking of mining, are they doing Aurora skins for mining ships? Are there any Aurora skins for mining ships? You know what? Hold on. Oh, here we go. It actually not only did it complete it on its own, but it pinged up a little thing for me. Oh, and but I do have to claim it. Boom. Claimed. And it made little beeping noises at me. Okay. So let's go back and dock up again. Oh, and it still has it tracked. You can see it here. It still has it tracked, but it just says it's complete now. I'm going to untrack enemy of my enemy and then go here and say, let's track scan signatures. You get credit for units mined for ice, but it would take forever to complete the daily with just ice. Yeah, but that was, I mean, that was true with the mining daily before though, right? The big difference is that now instead of having to get 25 or like a certain number of specific rats in the abyss, you now need to get 25 any rats. Although we also don't know what if anything, we're going to get as far as different challenges. Although we could look at the text, I guess. Hold on. Can I dark mode this successfully? No. Whatever. You're gonna have to deal with it. Where? There. Okay, so we got a bunch of removed items. That's odd. Hold on. Oh no, sorry. Here we go. So there's new items. There's all the ice jackers, the ice refinery heist, angels, Garistas. Here's all of the stuff for the ice heist finally being patched in. And as I said, there's nothing that necessarily suggests that these are temporary sites, as far as I can see. In the strings, though, here's one of the things I found really interesting. Hold on, let me see if I can do this. No, that's... Okay, so what we see here is in the diff a whole bunch of stuff being removed and a bunch of things being added. Normally, we don't see this kind of stuff where a bunch of stuff is getting removed. And a lot of times when I see this, my first thought is like, oh, I'm diffing it against Singularity. And that just means that something is on Tranquility that hasn't been put on Singularity yet. But no, this is actually comparing the previous build, yesterday's build of Tranquility, to today's build of Tranquility. And we see that they've removed a lot of different stuff, some strings and whatnot. And it looks like all of these strings are the ones related to the skilling, or all of the different, like, old opportunity system, right? Including opportunities involving, like, holiday stuff, launching a firework at FNS, you know, all the different, these are all fireworks stuff for the different Empire holidays, you know, the Empire holidays that all got skipped last year. Well, here's all of the strings related to the tasks in those being removed, which is kind of weird. But then past here, we see the addition of the stuff for the warehouse raids, as well as new tasks. So we have scan 5 signatures, scan 2 wormholes, scan 2 combat sites, scan 2 data sites, scan 2 relic sites, destroy 10 angels or rogue drones, 10 Garistas or rogue drones, 10 Serpentis or rogue drones. So if you're in the wrong area of space, these might be more challenging to do, although I think that's why they go with rogue drones, because you can find rogue drones basically anywhere. Are peculiar icebound crates still a thing? Yes, they are absolutely still a thing, and they're absolutely still the most valuable thing in it. You get credit for units mined for... Yeah. Yes, we did see the opportunity to cut off Amar from Jita. Let's see. Mine 100 units of Scordite, Dark Ochre, or Bistot. 900 units of Veldspar, Jaspit, or Arcanor. So this is a high sec ore, a low sec ore, and a null sec ore in both these cases. Mine 2,000 units of ore, that's what we have today. Manufacture an item. Damage other capsuleers. Shield boosts other capsuleers. Armor repair other capsuleers. Destroy 10 Sancha. Destroy 10 Sleepers or Rogue Drones. Destroy 10 Blood Raiders or Rogue Drones. Capture contested faction warfare complex. That's in a daily goal. I wonder if this is going to be... I think that this is something that anybody can get. So this might encourage you to enlist in faction warfare for a day, just to capture a contested faction warfare system. You want to capture one or defend one? Who knows? But also, that's going to be interesting, because, like, I wonder if insurgencies count towards that. I bet they don't. And it'll be weird because, like, those of us who are locked in insurgencies, hopefully we don't get that goal. Although everybody's going to get the goal. So that's going to be one to be looking at. Anyway, let's see some of the tests. The text. AIR has identified a correlation between surveyed mineral distribution and civil stability. They're requesting ore data from a variety of security statuses to determine if this relationship is causal or coincidental. That's the ore one, mining ore one. I've observed that firing lasers at asteroids is a common pastime for capsuleers. AIR would like to understand how this proclivity has altered the astrogeological environment. AIR is keen to gain insight into the experience of productivity of in immortals. They've requested that you manufacture an item so that they can map your emotional response. Boredom. No. AIR believes that that the better they understand New Eden's history, the better they will understand how capsuleers have changed it. That's the Scan 5 relics. How capsulators have altered the digital landscapes of New Eden interests Air just as much as their impact on the physical one. These sites are an opportunity to investigate both. That's the data sites. Identifying hidden enclaves of violence is particular interest to Air. I forward a query asking for clarification as to why, but have yet to receive a response. Combat description, scan 5 combat, which is interesting because like what that means is that the person who's talking to this, it's being said in a first person perspective that is not Air. So it sounds like the narrator in these ones are Aura, right? These could be Aura talking about these things. The impact of capsulators is not limited to known space. Air scientists have requested your help mapping wormhole connections in order to understand their impact. That's 5 wormholes. Scan 5 wormholes. Air is mapping the cluster's transient science and will compensate you for any precise location data that you can provide. That's scan signatures. Direct observation of Sancha is impossible, so Air has requested your help in mapping their incursive behaviors. Evermore is particularly interested in comparisons between the Sancha's true slaves and rogue drones. Not all artificial intelligences are as helpful as myself. Okay, so this is... Okay, so that means that it's either Aura or... what's her name? The Evermark person. What's the Evermark girl? Come on. Yeah, these are the new dailies. Yeah, there are a couple of the combinations that would seem hard. Iris, thank you. A couple of the combinations seem like they would be pretty challenging to do on some days, but maybe you won't be able... But that's why you get 4 tasks. You only have to do 2 of the 4 tasks. Air would like your help mapping the impact of illegal AI on New Eden, as well as controlling it. That's Sleeper's rogue drones. Air rejects any taboos surrounding research into Sunny Sabek. They request your help in testing the limits of their unique medical technologies. Evermore is also interested in the stress test of rogue drone repair capabilities. Yeah, the interesting bit is that these could be voice acted. That's true. But I don't know whether or not they are. I don't have any hints that they are so far in game. The cartel's dedication to secrecy obscures their impact on the cluster. Air requests some of the direct interference to illuminate that impact. The partners of Evermore has requested the same approach for rogue drone infestations. We've received a request for data on aggressive behaviors in countercultures like the Garistas. Air's partners, Evermore, are also interested in how these behaviors manifest in artificial intelligences. Air would like to measure the real impact of natural selection on Serpentis model of meritocracy. So it's meritocratic social evolution. Meritocratic? Is that right? Their partners Evermore has posed the same question about rapid iteration with rogue drone infestation. It's funny that Evermore is interested in... It's like, yeah, ditto, but with artificial intelligence. Air would like it understood that they consider all permanent deaths a tragedy. As part of their efforts to build a safer cluster, they're requesting data on any such tragedies that you are responsible for. Yeah, that's NPCs. Air has identified a correlation between surveyed mineral distribution and civil stability, blah, blah, blah. The introduction of immortality in New Eden has not eradicated violence. Some of Air's post-anthropologists hypothesize that it may, in fact, have encouraged it, helped them investigate this phenomena further. Capsular damage. What was that about the Sunny Sabek? Air rejects any taboos surrounding research into the Sunny Sabek. They request your help in testing the limits of their unique medical technologies. Evermore is also interested in the stress test of rogue drone repair capabilities. That's the kill blood raiders or rogue drones. Human cooperation is theorized to have emerged to compensate for your fragility. Air would like data to help them understand why it still persists when death is only temporary. That's shield boosters and armor repairer. War is one of the primary drivers of change in New Eden. Air would like to better understand how capsular involvement have altered the nature of those changes. That's defend faction warfare complexes and capture faction warfare complexes. And then there's text to get you more information, like the description of how to complete the goals. And then there's the new text for the rats and the sites for the new hijacker sites. And that's it. There is new files, but I think all of the new files are, well, yeah, there's the new platforms. This is for the sites, the mining sites, or the hijacking sites. There's some new audio, but I don't have that pulled out. And here's the image for the ice refinery task. Anything else that's interesting? Daily goal completed? No. I think that's it. Changed files, anything cool? Updated some structures. Same kind of structures though, basically. Probably just a re-render. All right, cool. So that's what we got. Hey Ash, did you hear that that a corp is now consulting ChatGPT with Eve knowledge for direction? Yes. There is a corporation that is supposedly, like, they have a board of directors, but the board of directors consults ChatGPT for major decisions. IRP that someone is interested in Blood Raider medical tech, so I'd likely just complete that passively. Half of my characters don't have access to the air dailies. That's weird. Try to scan some sites. I gotta get my dailies done. And then I'll probably, maybe we'll just do some Winter Nexus today. Just to show you guys how easy that is. Yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna burn off a little bit. Cloak up. So let's look at how we can find these opportunities. There's a couple of choices. You can open up your map and then filter it by Metaliminal Storm by coming up to color by and then selecting Metaliminal Storm from the gear up there. And we can see that there is a Metaliminal Storm that isn't too far away that we can head to. Now, I'm going to show you the site in HiSec, but the point is that this site is basically identical in LowSec and NullSec, so you can do this in LowSec and make quite a bit of ISK if you want. It isn't that dangerous because, A, you're pretty far off the beacon when you are doing your mining, but also B, the only things that can get into the site themselves are other mining ships and hauling ships and stuff. So, like, your scariest thing that's coming in is like an endurance or a venture. So, you know, you can just burn off and cloak or warp off or whatever. And if you are an alpha or new to the game or whatever, by now you should get your daily login for the Winter Nexus. You should have already gotten this one, the Winter Nexus Expert System, which will give you, I think, 4 days of being an endurance pilot regardless of what your original skills are. Oh, I probably should have not brought all that with me, but whatever. Oh, actually, here's a winter event site. Here's a winter system itself. But there's nothing here. Battle ventures are very spooky. Capsuleer's consulting AI sounds like a good way for CSP to spawn drifters on your structures. Just Concord Sorrow agents and Derail. You know what's funny? Like, these skins were put into the game but I don't think they've ever made it available for anybody to get yet. Derail is their anti AI division that kind of came into popularity with the Ugalis incident. And yet, you know, it says Bot Hunter, but I don't think that they've been giving these things out at all. So yeah, I'm going to a fading volatile ice site. You'll want to, you know, like if you go to low sec, you'll be in a fresh, I think. Null sec is also different. You can use these filaments to get to them. So high sec, a lot of, you know, all these ones. So I've got one to go to high sec, and I've got a bunch of them to go, or sorry, one to go to, 3 to go to null sec, and a bunch of them to go to high sec. Maybe we can use those later. Now in high sec, these are going to be pretty well, you're going to have to learn to share. So all you have to do is go into the site, mine 14 blocks of ice if you're in an endurance, and then go and turn them in. Now make sure that when you turn in, like there's 3 different tasks to do. One is to enter the site, which actually you get for just warping to the site. One that you get for mining 7 blocks of ice, and one for 4 turn-ins, which is a total of 28 blocks of ice. The endurance can hold, I think, 16 blocks of ice. Sorry, I think. But you can only like turn in them in 7 block increments. So you kind of think about it as you have like a couple blocks of buffer, where if you don't pay attention for a little bit and forget, you can go turn them in. 19, you can have 19. Well, yes. Oh, that's right, because you end up with 5 extra. So you can end up with a 5 block buffer, but really at 14, it's fine to turn in. Another good trick is if you do have, like, if you need to move to another site, you can always turn in when you get to the other site, because the turn in is actually close to the entrance. Yeah, there's definitely people that just jet can with the endurances and then pull it in with the orca or with a porpoise or whatever. All right, well, I got invited to a fleet. That's what happens when you mine in a system, you know, right? You can do it with an MTU, but of course, MTUs can come under attack. And so this is a really easy way for anybody, new player or otherwise, to get their reward track bonuses for this event. By the way, another pro tip: I'm really bad at redeeming shit. Okay, so I like to go to expiry date, whatever, expiration date, and so that way I can see when something's about to fall off, right? But this is mining laser range, which I don't care about. So let's see. They don't seem to have any Aurora Universalis skins for at least the Endurance, which most of the time they do it for all of the ice ships, or all the mining ships together. It is quite hard to do the ice mining with an alpha account without the expert system, but that's why they give you the expert system. You've got 4 days to knock it out. And any extra you can do with the hacking site. Like, the hacking site is also super easy to do, and you can yeet yourself out to null. And it's super quiet out there. The price of the Endurance did spike really, really bad at the beginning of the event, as it normally does, but it has come down to a fairly reasonable level last I checked. Let's go check it out. I'm going to go to Janice.e-315.com and type in Endurance. And they say that it is Oh yeah, Jita buys it. Wait, is that true? Jita buys at 18 million. Jita sells at 22 million. Dude, that's cheaper than 3 weeks ago. If that's true, yeah, that's totally great. That's better than during the off season. Uh, let's see. Had a good weekend. We did an eviction, which was kind of fun. My first actual like for realsy eviction. We didn't get a ton, but you know, it was the point that counted, and that was kind of interesting. Did a lot of the Vanguard stuff. There's been a lot of games coming out with new updates recently, so having to catch up on everything. Phasmophobia just came out with a new update with like a Christmas challenges and stuff. And of course, doing some ice mining, both in high sec and low sec. Oh, let's look at the track again. So Ishkur, Dragoon, Talwar, Magus, Blackbird, Arazu, Hugin, Nestor, Thanatos. I mean, this skin does look pretty good. I do kind of like the looks of it. Not that I'm going to fly very many Thanatoses, but, you know, whatever. Nestor Aurora Universalis is fine, although I prefer the Yule, especially at this time of year. Maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow or something, is I'll yeet an Estero into Null and we'll do some exploration. You would like to see a Stormbringer version of that skin? Oh, really? You mean like this one? I have an extra one, actually. Oh, yeah, my pod skin. Let's do that. New Eden store. Yay! Arkham Bine Arisen skin. This thing looks so sick. I'm in need of 5 of those since I multi-box. Oh no! The Algos Aurora skin? The Algos is just one of the best looking ships. That's why. Another interesting pro tip that we found, and I might get in trouble because it's probably a bug and I'm now letting them know this, but the rocks actually respawn about an hour after they're completed. So if you just hunker down in a site, once you complete all the rocks, the site itself will despawn, or at least the beacon that leads to the site will despawn. So people will have to combat probe you in order to get to you. But the rocks will begin to respawn an hour after you finished mining the first one. So you can hunker down pretty safely, even in a low sec system, if you wanted to do that. Sorry, man, that's what I do. But now I've said it. That's the only warning people get. Why don't I have the Algos Aurora Universalis skin? Wait, why don't I have the or how do I not have the Algos? What? Oh. I need one more block of ice before I can turn in. It's also interesting. So, like, you need 2 sets of turn-ins with an endurance in order to get the 3rd task. Also, as I said, you just need to warp to the site, which you can actually warp off and warp back to the exact same site to get credit for going to a site. Correct, but you can still do that even after the site has quote unquote despawned. It still counts. As long as you don't let the site actually despawn by like having everybody leave it. Oh, time to go. Missed 1 hour? Yeah. Most of the big news. We talked about a new site that we haven't really seen yet. Nobody seems to have any information about yet. And then we're just doing some ice mining today and some chilling out. We're talking about the new opportunities. And it does not reset the beacon, correct? Well, I warped off and then warped back to a person that was in the site, and I still landed on the gate, and I still got credit for going to one of the sites. So one of the things we were thinking about is like, or I was thinking about is like getting a team of people. You mine the first site, and then when there's like 4 or 5 rocks remaining, you leave 2 people in there, and then you move on to the next site and keep doing this until like, because 2 people can pretty much, 2 or 3 people can mine that field almost indefinitely. So you could theoretically set up almost as many people as you want in little pockets. Oh, shoot. Well, after the beacon for the sites disappear. Whoa! All right, well, let's just keep going then. And we're going to probe some sites at the meantime. So that's 4 sites. I need to scan 5. Besides, there's been so much to talk about. I haven't really been doing any real gameplay recently. Don't mine in Macari. Don't mine with Mackinaws. Like, I don't understand all these people that are mining in like mining barges. It's so like I can't believe it's better to mine in a mining barge than it is to mine in endurance. I just can't believe it. Oh, it's only 1. Okay, so you get 1 extra. $44 capacity. Yeah, but I don't know, man. That seems so. We had somebody coming and mining in a Hulk, and that is I can't understand it at all. See, there's a Hulk here. Like, it doesn't even hold enough. You have to constantly jettison. If you have a hauler, it is. Whatever. Fine. You could have a porpoise. If you have a Hulk and a porpoise, where the porpoise can sit close to the thing and like tractor in the jet cans, I could see it. As a Mac, aren't you going through? I guess you could go through the. Yeah, I could argue. I could see the argument for a Mac theoretically, but it's just so slow. Yeah, right. Like, how much AFK do you have to be? Then you have like, I have to interact with this. Hold on, I have to interact with this once every 11 minutes, 12 minutes. I have to do something once every 12 minutes, assuming that the ice doesn't run out, which if the ice runs out, then that would be the same as in any kind of ship. So if you're telling me that having to interact with your game once every 12 minutes is just too much for you, fine. You know what? There's room for all of us. Is the low sec ice the same as the high sec ice? No, the low sec ice is the best in the game. You'll get on average somewhere between like 10 to 30 million per turn in, and the rare chests, the rare drops that you get for finishing the ice blocks, are the best. Hey, speaking of ice boxes, I got a peculiar. Look, I've already gotten one. So these are the rare spawn items that you get when you are mining. You rarely get them anytime you complete one of the rocks. It has a chance of giving you one of these, I believe. So, yeah, we're going to finish up getting the 14 mine ore. Oh, God. I want to get the 14 ice, hopefully, and then we'll open up that box. No, I've heard very little. Like, I haven't. You're just unlucky? Wait, for what? Not getting an ice curious? I've heard that the peculiar hasn't been as common recently, or this year. But random is random, so who knows? Fills up in 20 minutes. I mean, hey, maybe it's better. I just feel like endurance is more for the spirit of the thing. I suppose. Whatever. The one thing that is pretty good about it is since you're yeeting, like you can yeet to get your ships to the different locations, you kind of don't need to worry so much about navigation. That's how you see hulks in these sites, right? Because they can yeet to get between the different low-sec fields, sites that they want, systems that they want to. You know, once you finish a site or two, you can yeet again. Yeah, endurance yeet to null works awesome. That's actually why this ship exists. We could do that for the remainder of the time. Hold on a second. I feel like I need like a pillow to prop myself up on today. I don't know why. Okay. Can't quite get comfortable. Because that's what this ship is actually for. That's why it's got scanning probes, data analyzer 2, and an ice mining laser. Yeah. It's true. $250 greens and 4 peculiars. I just got super lucky. Streamer luck, right? Do not open these crates while you're still in space, by the way. The products on the inside can be much bigger than the actual boxes themselves. Although they have fixed a lot of that with they changed the overseer effect size. So it's not as bad as it once was, but it still can be pretty bad. Reds are nullsec, right? What is the Vanguard First Strike reward? The Vanguard First Strike reward is this skin for your pod. Were the peculiar ones the one that dropped faction stuff? Yes. Oh, there's a suspect endurance here. That's sketchy. The Arcombine Arisen capsule skin for being a Vanguard reward has some potentially unintended and hilarious implications. Why is that, Lorelight? Yeah, I think all of the boxes can drop faction loot. That's true. Hey, V-Rod Cruiser coming in with a gifted membership. Who's it going to? Who's it going to?
You have been promoted.
Do you lose the pod skin if the pod is destroyed? No. Like pretty much all skins nowadays, you keep it forever. Was it? Oh, it was. Wait. Oh, it was Virewolf. Wait. Yeah, Virewolf. Congratulations to Virewolf. Thank you so much to V-Rod Cruiser for that gifted membership. Virewolf, you get all of those emotes. You get early video access to videos when they get edited. You get part of my supporter Discord channel. Other cool stuff. $155 plex from a mysterious crate you got from a Twitch drop. Yeah. Oh wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. I will say, make sure you're paying attention to the Twitch drops. I still have my Twitch drop box, I think. Mysterious Galnet crate? Yeah. We can open that up too when we get back. Either implies having actively having sponsored ground units or having been part of a ground unit. Yes, I know I'm looking too deep in the fun small. Well, the idea is that pretty much all of the people that we played as in that test, canonically, like what happened was Arcombine attacked the planet. Now, how we all got odd rewards for it, yeah, that is kind of funny. But, I mean, it is Arcombine, officially. The other nice thing is that, like, we can do this as a group. This is one of the best holidays of the year for us to, like, just have a bunch of people that come together and just go into low-sec and mine together, make tons of money, and supports each other. Is there any drops on YouTube? No, only Twitch. Oh, yeah, I was supposed to be scanning signatures. I guess it isn't going to matter if I'm going to be eating things out, but just in case. A bit more complicated than that, according to some dev talk, as well as some players have interacted with the event. Well, the soldiers that were on the battlefield were Arcombine and Mordu. Just fill out the survey and they ask about how you like the linkage to Eve. Was it actually linked? Yes. The insurgency that the active insurgency that was ongoing at the time, which I think is still ongoing. We can go check. We go into here and go to the Garissa side of things. We can see that Heverus had 3.278% of its total 100% corruption provided by Vanguard. So yes. Now, is that much? No. Did it make a difference? In this case, not. But yes, it was linked. Which is really, in my opinion, what they were mostly testing. Was if that link worked. Left enough vague for player interpretation. CCP's Vanguard team has been enthusiastic over players coloring a bit outside of the vague lines. Yeah, that's true, but let's dock up. Arcambine and Mordu practically guaranteed, but I want more factions. I do too. And there are other factions that are waiting in the wings. Let's see. Hold on. Actually, I think this might work. Hold on. Yeah.
A Mordu's Legion task force sent to reinforce corporate security troops on the besieged planet of Hevreys 3 was ambushed by Garista's pirates last night. The task force included heavily modified Mordu's bowheads that are reported to have been outfitted to support Legion Warclone unit operations. The ships carried Warclone blanks, cloning bays, and materiel for ground warfare. The advanced Legion equipment is speculated to be of high value for the rumored deathless research and development efforts into cloning. Taken by surprise and overwhelmed by superior Garista's forces, the task force escorts were quickly wiped out, leaving the freighters defenseless. While the majority of the Legion fleet was destroyed in high orbit of the planet, a handful of bowhead freighters rushed towards the planet in a desperate attempt to deploy the Mordu's troops to the surface before their destruction. Only one ship managed to reach low orbit, but heavily damaged and under limited control, the bowhead crashed down on a remote part of the planet. The crash site is likely to become a priority target for pirate forces. Reports are circulating that the Deathless Circle is deploying units of experimental clone troops, designated as Vanguard, to the planet. With the decision to send lightly defended freighters into a pirate insurgency zone, highlighting how overstretched Mordu's Legion and Upwell are, the surviving Legion troops on the surface of Hevreys 3 are preparing for the first strike by the Deathless and his Vanguard troops. This is Alton Hovery, reporting for The Scope.
Oh, wrong one. So, one of the things to point out about that, though, is that it does say that the FIO has sent kill teams on it, but when you did the missions, it specifically said kill 20 Vanguard / Mordu troops. So the only people that were involved in it, according to Vanguard, was Vanguard and Mordu. But obviously, you could argue that other pirates were, or other groups were interested in it throughout the weekend. But it was a project by the Deathless, who seems to have control over things like the agency and other, capsular services. And so likely just distributed the Arcambine pod skin without approval. Okay, let's open up some boxes. We've got Mysterious Galnet crate. We've got Ice Storm Filament crate. We've got Yule Festival Snowball crate. We've got another Yule Festival Snowball crate. That should be it. All right, redeem to current station. Oop. All right. And these also go here. Let's open them up. First of all, we're going to do our green salvage. This is what we got for turning in 7 blocks of ice each. Our first one is, by the way, you can actually, check this out. You don't need to click them all. You can right-click and close, and it'll just dump them out. I know some people are complaining about having to click a bunch. There you go. You do have to open up the next one, but like you can open it and just close it out. Wow, that was garbage. If you want to, you can obviously click on them all. Doesn't make any difference, really. The only difference is you can't click open another because you closed it. There you go. So let's see. Grand total of 5.4 million that we got in, let's see. So 28 blocks, call it 25 minutes, 5 million, 25 minutes in HiSec and got some tasks done. Not terrible. Oh, sure. I now, after like 400 boxes. Oh, now I know. Oh, ha 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 ha. Yeah, sorry. Now then, Peculiar Icebound. This was the special one that I got while I was mining. Let's see what I get. Medium Garbage Smart Bomb. Meta Charger, 10th Overseer's effect, which is nothing. 11th Overseer's, and a Dasher. I got garbage for my peculiar. Although it is, I mean, 13 million. So 13 million for a high sec crate, fine, whatever. It's worth twice as much as all of the rest of the filament, or all of the rest of the crates I got combined. Let's open up these. Snowballs. Snowballs. Okay. And the mysterious Galnet crate. This was for the Twitch drops. Two items. I got a Saber Galnet skin and an agency support drop, which is a drug crate. So I got a box inside of a box. And this has one Paralancia 1, hard shell 1. Okay, well, that was literally a waste of my time to click it. The Saber skin, however, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I mean, unfortunately, I already have this skin for it, which is better. And actually this one. But, doesn't look too bad. Some people want their Saber to be bright pink. I think I know a couple people that might be interested in this. I wish I had known the right-click hack before I opened 150 yesterday. I'm sorry, guys. I should. This is why you gotta watch my streams, man. I like how simple the Nexus combat sites are. My playstyle is just brainless, spammable content, better than annoying mission system. Yep, the event sites are pretty bog standard. I think that's the term for it. Let us grab, we don't need a 10-man, 2-man high sec. Oh, these are the same one. These are the same one. I don't need all of those. So we'll leave 2 of those behind. And we'll leave 1 of these behind just in case. We've got 3 high sec ice, 2 null sec ice. We technically don't need the festival launcher or the snowballs, but we're going to take them anyways. We are watching your stream. Maybe you need to stream every day. I mean, I wish I could. Literally raises from the dead just to look at the skin. Danny, you're the one I had in mind. Yeah, well, yeah, combat sites are contested a lot. That's the way it is in high sec, especially. Although I have heard of people that yeet out to null to do the combat sites just because of how quiet it is out there. I'm going to double check because earlier I tried to do ice mining in low sec with my really expensive pod in. Good, not doing that again. Now then, I open up my box. I think I have to burn off further than this. Only 28 likes. Psh. I'm going to get discouraged. Does it work? I do not have fleet roll commander. Am I in a fleet? Do I have to have a fleet? Oh, this is a 5. So because this is a -5 filament, it allows up to 5 people to come. So now I have to be in fleet. So I'm going to right click on myself. Say, oh no, I am in a fleet. I'm in his fleet. Haha. Leave fleet. And then I form a fleet with myself, which makes me the fleet commander. Session change must happen. Found a quiet system with 6 combat sites, no contest, Torp Golem. Hell yeah. And safety is enabled. Have to have safety on partial. I have to be 1,000 kilometers from a Gallente mining station? Garg. The problem with no combat sites is that they're full open. Oh, wow. Well, at least you have local to protect yourself, right? Oh my god. Temporarily invulnerable. There we go. Sheesh. Let's go! Yikes. I'm in a null 6 system with a lot of other people. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 7 people in system. It's pandemic horde. All right. Well, first things first, we're going to cloak. We're going to see what we see. There's some volatile ice fields, some transit sites, some cosmic signatures. Uh-oh. What is that? Hello? Sorry, that was my son's school. Apparently he bumped his head at school and is wanting to come home. I'm trying to see whether or not that's an even viable idea. Meanwhile, I'm going to try to get into the next system over. So wish me luck. Boy, did I get distracted. I was supposed to make a landing safe while I was landing. Let me... I'm going to give him a couple of minutes, and then I'll figure out whether or not the downstairs neighbor is willing to go pick him up. Sorry, guys.
Warp drive active.
I think he's probably going to be fine. They're saying he's probably going to be fine. I know. Yeah, it is real life first, but like, as Lazy One points out, it's like, what do we want to let him get home, come home for? Man, there's a lot of people in these areas. Now, it is nullsec, so I don't want to warp gate to gate, per se.
Warp drive active.
Lots of sites. But only 2 ice fields, I think. Maximum range, minimum narrow angle D-scan.
Warp drive.
Should get us bubbles if that's a problem. Of course, like literally as I hit the yeet button, I get the phone call, right? Yeah. But he's 10 years old and he also has autism, so he goes to a school for autistic kids. So like they behave a little differently there.
Warp drive active.
I'm in Outer Passage, which is apparently in Dronelands. That is an advantage of living out in the Dronelands, right? You can do all the opportunities now.
Warp drive active.
And now I have a site all to myself. And I have local. So I can see that there's nobody else in local with me. So I can just mine this all I want. Only one cosmic signature, though. I told him we were testing in place like all the other kids. However, kids nowadays never get that same treatment from faculty like we did as kids. Yeah. I mean, and some of that can be attributed to things improving over the years. Yes, I do still hit D-scan, regardless. Most of the time. Yeah, off to the mines with you. I think he wants to. He'll want to stay home, or he'll want to stay at school rather. I know he wants to go home. He always wants to go home. Yeah. No, it's not even too long in a wormhole. It's just too long in a faction warfare, right? I just got used to going like this all the time. This is just what you do when you're playing Eve. Just idly tap on your spacebar. I do rebind D-scan to spacebar for 2 reasons. 1, it's easier to hit. And 2, spacebar by default highlights your chat window, which if you accidentally, like let's say you want to hit B, right? And you accidentally hit spacebar first, or let's say C, I don't know, whatever. You hit spacebar first, then if you hit other hotkeys, they don't count because they just go into the text chat. So I get rid of the highlight text chat altogether hotkey and change spacebar to directional scan for that reason. You're saving your expert system for when the nearby lowsec gets the storm. Yeah, that's the best thing to do, honestly, is to just find the lowsec system that's near you and like zip on over to it rather than yeeting out of position. If you can do that. Yep, that is probably why sometimes it doesn't work for you. We'll just move local over here right now. Just so we can all see. Wish my father said that to me. It's my education didn't stop there. I sent to continue my education with my uncle on the farm until school ended. Hey, man. We all do what we can for the next generation, right? I work with Zed a lot to... I'm a firm believer that, like, rather than... I know a lot of people believe in, like, limiting screen time and whatever, but at the same time, like, this is just the reality that he grows up in now, right? Like, I have to deal with a lot more stuff than a lot of parents do with when it comes to 10-year-olds, with what he gets exposed to because of his time on the internet. But at the same time, like, he gets to deal with all this stuff with me, like, while he's still young enough to come to me and in order to try to understand it, you know, some of it and whatnot. So, like, you know, he's got to learn how to be safe on the internet. He's got to learn how to, you know, use the technology to his advantage and do it well. So, you know, I don't necessarily discourage that. If you can fly in endurance, is there any reason to use an expert system? I mean, like, you can always check. Like, if you already have all those skills to that level, like, I have ice harvesting 5. I've got mining upgrade 5. I got expedition frigates 4. Like, as long as you have all of that, then yeah, using this is useless. In fact, you even see here, it says total training time 0. So this is useless to me. But I could use it on another character. Did anybody else, like, so one of the things I really got from the Vanguard thing was that not everyone's experience was created equal. One of the most salient points that I saw was about a guy who, like, at first was not getting it, but then dropped with an actual good team. Like, when he was just grouping up with randos that weren't using voice comms or whatever, then it was pretty much garbage. But as soon as he fell into, like, a team and moving as a team, it was really, really enjoyable. And that that tracks with what I experienced. I didn't really do that much by myself, but, like, I did do it mostly with a team, and it does feel really good to maneuver over the terrain towards objectives and work together with your team. And everybody that I saw that was doing really, really well and enjoying it had basically... That's why a lot of streamers and stuff were having a good time with it for so long, even though it's such a simplistic game style, is because, you know, these people generally have teams with them. And so even though it's a simple scenario, maneuvering through it all as a group with your friends or with other people, I think that's the core piece of what was making it interesting for those people versus other people. If you're just trying to run around by yourself and getting headshot somewhere, then it's not that great, right? There's some harsh things on the internet that no kids should go through, either controlled or not. Kids are creative and will find weak spots and go around said barriers. Best to be on guard. Well, yes, but that's my point, is that, so, like, I try to work with him so that way he understands that the things that he's told that he's not that he can't do, like, there's very good reason for it. So, like, I have very little to no concern that my son is going to accidentally use an app to buy a bunch of stuff using my wallet. you know, using my card or whatever. Even though I make sure that that's not really an easy thing for him to do, I have zero concern with him with that encounter, because we've had such an ongoing discussion about these kinds of things, and even small things getting, being talking points, learning points. You know, he made that mistake at one point with like $1 or $2, right? And but so in that sense, that's more of what I mean by now. Obviously, there's some terrible things on the internet as well, and so, you know, being able to navigate away from that. But like, the things that he would key in on is totally different than a lot of that stuff, so that's fine. Now, as he comes to age, it's going to be more weird, but we'll have to see. The internet is the current generation's neighborhood streets. Internet is where they learn, socialize, spam, and stranger danger. It's true, man. You know, like, I was being very careful about Discord and all that stuff, but, you know, like, I observe him, I pay attention, and I keep track of his logs and whatnot, but, like, he just chats with his buds, man. He plays gorilla tag with people. He's got play dates. So, you know, that's just the universe that he is growing up in. It's just different than ours. I mean, he grows up in a world in which you get charged 28 extra cents for coffee that they say that it comes with. That's not the world I grew up in. Played 2 rounds solo and got bored even with while doing decent. Had a much better time with others in the squad. Yeah. Yikes. No, not quite. Playing solo isn't that bad. You just have to kill the whole enemy squad. I did really enjoy the bots as well, because, like, the bots were actually not that bad, all things considered. And it really felt like, oh, well, bots are kind of like players that you can get the drop on, right? Because they kind of walk around obliviously. But once you've engaged with them, they do a pretty decent job. I always enjoyed the solo part of Vanguard, the feeling of tactically running alone. We made mistakes. Yeah, it is very punishing for solo, though, given the fact that, like, everything else is running around in squads. You're limited ammo per charge, the requirement to make your own ammo. Like, it is hardcore for sure. I definitely can feel that, like, you're a solo commando unit, you know, or whatever. That could be cool too. Uh-oh. Now I have to pay attention to D-scan. No! Force matching with 2-3 man squads. Yeah, we didn't do any of that kind of, like, trying to game the system like that, per se. So I don't know what we're going to do on Thursday. If you want to give me information, come on the Discord and talk to me on in the Eve Universe Show channel, or better yet, in the supporters channel. Help me understand. Help me decide what I want to do on Thursday. Do you think that the oversight of the loading screen being for a different planet region was actually an oversight during the Vanguard event, or should we be paying attention to the region's happenings? I think it's totally ignore it completely. The fact that it says Genesis thing, because I'm pretty sure it's said that ever since even, like, the original FanFest presentation. It was the same the whole time. Like, that's the thing about that level, and I talked about this a little bit last time, is that I am reasonably sure that that level was designed with no idea what timeline it was going to be or how it was going to fit with anything or anything like that. It was just, like, their example level that they were working on for their vertical slice of the game. So I would not, like, it was made to have an accurate place in the game, but I wouldn't necessarily, or, like, to be a kind of site that would be authentic in the game. But I would say that all of that happens in Heverus and surrounding areas, and not in Genesis, as it suggests. Lorelai, I didn't mean that in a judgmental way. I meant like, just you understand the mechanics of matchmaking and trying to use it to get the result that you want. You know, we didn't get that deep because we didn't have enough people at any given time to do it. It was a lot of things. Like, a lot of us were like kind of poking at it for a little bit, and, you know, and like, oh yeah, that's cool, and then, you know, wandering off. We had ghosts to hunt. We had ghosts to hunt. And, you know, Raid Shadow Legends. Lots of Raid Shadow Legends. An unfortunate amount of Raid Shadow Legends. And no, they're not paying me to play anymore. It's the 2 times. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I think that honestly, in everything that they could have possibly been testing for, I think that they should be wildly happy with their results, right? Because like, it apparently, like, the matchmaking worked fine, the sites were fine, a lot of people, it was technically very smooth. All of the pieces worked pretty nicely, and its influence on Eve worked pretty much without a hitch. Like, technically speaking, as far as a vertical slice test goes, Vanguard seemed to go nearly perfect. All of the complaints or any of the negative feedback that I saw was about pieces of the game that weren't finished or weren't refined yet. So as far as like a technical test of what it was supposed to do, I think it passed with flying colors. Can you show me a speed boot? Are you tanking Spider? Oh boy. I will say I finally got my legendary Uko, and that changed the universe to me. I went from being like behind the power curve to being like, oh man, I can actually do stuff. Lag and weird impact geometry was the worst part, to be honest. Yeah, there was a little bit of netcode stuff, but I mean, to be understood. I think a big piece of it was everybody's shock at the system requirements of it, right? Oh, I need to go turn in anyways. You know, I had a 1070 Ti, which is not their requirements. I was able to play it just fine. Now, I have pretty decent everything else, lots of RAM and everything else like that. But, yeah. Wasn't there a quote somewhere from CCP along the lines, we were surprised the servers didn't go down? I don't think I saw that one. But let's see. Anything else been going on recently? I need to get into insurgencies more. I've yet to really been able to. Honestly, the whole thing with Zarzak has been a real big thorn in my side, because I really wanted to just stage out of Zarzak, and it's been taking longer to get Zarzak up and running. Does anybody operate out of Zarzak yet? We didn't crash the server. It only started crashing when Billy messed up jump. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have high settings, but at the same time, like, the high settings and the low settings was roughly indistinguishable. Like, it didn't really matter. I guess I could switch over to this one. This one's more proper. Looks better. Very good graphics, but it should not be so hard to run as it was. Looks like a really good PS4 game, to be honest. Well, so it's Unreal Engine 5. I think that really it's just because like, it has such extremely long draw distance, and I want to believe that you could optimize it like, I wonder if they're doing like occlusion culling and directional culling and all that kind of stuff. John Cormac. So I don't know what kind of tech they have under the hood on it, but you know, it's Unreal Engine 5, so there is a lot of really good tools in it. 14 green crates, estimate 66 mil. Yeah, that sounds about right. I was seeing about that game. What is that game? There's a new game that just released, and then the company immediately went under. Like yesterday, like last day or something. Oh man, it was some zombie shooter thing. The day before, yeah. The day before. Yeah, the day before. So they come out, like, for years, this game is in development. They have all kinds of problems. There's, of course, people defending them on the internet, saying, like, don't worry, guys, it's not even on open access or whatever. It comes out in open access, and, like, 2 days later, the company shuts down and they end all services for it. It's now... over 50% of all of the copies of the game has been refunded. And yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I love how, like, in their article, they were like, we overestimated our capabilities. Game development's hard, guys. It turns out we thought we could do it. Yeah, it was apparently totally garbage. Criminal charges needed? Well, I mean, possibly, but I mean, like, you could argue that they gave it their college shot and failed, but the fact that they didn't say anything until 2 days after it was released, like they released it knowing basically that they were exploding, that's, I think, the questionable thing. Online MMORPG changed to an extraction shooter on the final days? Oh, God. You know what? Actually, that's funny. That reminds me, unironically, of the captain's quarters, where they were like, we're going to do walking in stations. And then they're like, we're going to give you one type of room for all 4 empires. And then, like, the 2 weeks before the release of Incarna, they were like, we're going to give you one room. Just one. Can't imagine why that expansion didn't do well. Oh yeah, no, that's a thing that happened. That's where the Summer of Rage came from. Yeah, they're screwed. But, you know, game development is hard. I like how they said, like, oh yeah, they released the day before and closed the day after. That was a good joke. Ty told me that joke. Googling furiously the Summer of Rage. Do you not know about the Summer of Rage? Oh, man. I actually have a video on it. I have a video on it already. You can check out. But the TLDR is that CCP introduced microtransactions. Players were concerned that it was going to extend to more than just skins. On top of that, they were trying to sell a $60 monocle. And a lot of the other stuff on the store was very expensive comparatively. I think the cheapest thing on the store was $10 for clothing. And then in the middle of all of that, also the expansion was causing problems to people's graphics cards. You know, Incarna was a bad thing. The one room issue that I was just telling you about, and throughout it all, like a leaked document from CCP, their internal like magazine Fearless came out with people debating whether or not. Well, the title of the article is "Greed is Good," and it was all about how microtransactions can be woven into Dust 514, EVE Online, and World of Darkness at the time. And so a lot of people freaked out. And it was called the Summer of Rage. There's this gigantic protest. It's why the Jita Memorial the Jita Monument's now broken. And CCP had to call an emergency meeting, fly out all of the CSM members with less than a week's notice out to Iceland to negotiate for the future of CCP. They lost like 30% of their company, and it redirected their entire course of development for the next decade. Yeah, like I said, I have a video about it. Hold on. Do I? Hold on. Really? Hmm. I should have a video on about the Summer of Rage. Thought for sure I did. We have to look that up now. Maybe I'll talk about it if not. I know that, so I went to PAX that year, and a bunch of the CCP devs were at PAX, and they had t-shirts with on the back, it showed the monocle, and it said, "Ask me about my monocle." They really owned up to their mistake. It is covered in the Eve documentary. A lot of CCP's, like, history was defined by that summer. The deep dive? Oh, are you talking about the down the rabbit hole? Down the rabbit hole is pretty good overall. It was fairly one-sided because obviously he got most of his information from the Goon Swarm, but like as far as like what happened in Eve or what Eve is, you know, it's very good. And you know, it's actually pretty accurate also. It's just, you know, be aware of bias. The Empires of Eve book is also super good. The way they incorporated the UI with walking in stations was awful. Didn't mind walking around the room, but didn't doing anything productive was a pain. You know what? They were wanting to make it so that you did do productive things. Like you went and like looked up your fitting there. But players were pissed because the idea that it would take them anything besides like instantaneously to be able to do what they wanted, they didn't want Incarnate to increase the amount of time or pain or hassle it did to perform actions, especially if they're doing like a fleet operation or whatever. So it was incredibly important to them that like nothing in Captain's Quarters was Captain's Quarters only. Like you still had to have the UI, and it still had to be able to do everything, you know, whatever. So CCP wanted to make it different, but players were like really, really upset at the idea. And so in the end, CCP didn't. And yeah, we got what we got. Yeah, the whole Captain's Quarters thing was total mess. I really am going to have to make a video covering the Summer of Rage by itself, don't I? Or find the video where I did it. Met some people that Down the Rabbit Hole brought into the game. It helped explain the game to people who knew only a surface level of info that merely existed in sci-fi spaceships. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some of that stuff is really, like, that sort of stuff is great for bringing players into the game because they come in with an understanding of the game that, like, sets them up for success. One of the things that's interesting is that if you look at the historical map, the biggest drop-off in player history is around just after BTAC-R. A lot of people came into the game, but they came into the game with this expectation of what BTAC-R was sold to them as. And that wasn't what Eve was. And so like their retention actually plummeted, even though it was already pretty low. And that's why after 2015, we see this strong focus towards like working on new player experiences, working on improving the, you know, the game, the foundations, the fundamentals. That gets escalated in 2019 when they start doing polls and doing putting in new metrics to understand how the player base actually behaves. You know, a lot of that comes from the fact that this assumption that it was all about the players and all that stuff, and BTAC-R being kind of the height of that, and then it actually being really, really bad for the game as opposed to really, really good, what most people would like sell it as or expect it to be, right? Most people would say, oh yeah, BTAC-R was one of the best advertisements that CCP could ever have. It was actually one of the worst in reality. But yeah, so down in the rabbit hole gets people to come in with a holistic view, a lot more of an idea of like what kind of thing actually can be happening here and how it all paces out and everything. There's been a lot of good things like that recently. And so I think that a lot of the players that have joined in the last year or two have a completely different expectation of what EVE Online is and can be than other players. Or than previous generations. You don't need to swipe your card for a retriever or whatever the message was when CCP tried to sell ships. Yeah. Summer of Rage for Thursday? We should probably talk about it. I'll try to find it. Alright, but I think I'm going to try to yeet home and wrap things up for this mining stuff, because you guys don't want to just see me mining in high-sec, or in nullsec indefinitely. So I've got my 4 boxes from nullsec. Right, I got 4. No icebound this time, but let's try to get high-sec. Let's see. You guys think I'm going to get contiguous high-sec, Iridia, or Solitude? Make your guess right now. In the chat, you've got 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see Solitude. Oh, I have to warp away. You can't actually yeet from the site itself? Interesting. Danny is the only one on my side. Everybody else is being more realistic, I think. If you don't know why it's funny that I go to Solitude, you should watch my yeet exploration video. It was very successful, pretty good. Yeet. Iridia. Malik's just trying to be different. Let's see what we got. Solitude! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! I've been Ashtarothi. I've been playing this game since 2010, talking about it since 2012, and I'm here to put even context for you, my fellow Empyreans. Let me dock up, open these boxes, and we'll be wrapping things up for the night. I'd be willing to, I'm going to play, I kind of want to play a game or two of Phasmophobia to wrap up the day. Since we do have a little bit of time. Actually, I'm going to take a quick break, call the school. I'm supposed to call them back. And see what we can do. You Skyrim that one? I always go to Solitude, man. I always go to Solitude. Let's open up these boxes. Check the chat. Check that chat. The suppression 5. What? Description was wrong? What? I don't understand. Either way, let's see what I got. 6th tier and 8th tier. Open another. Once again, in case you weren't here earlier, you don't actually have to click everything. You can just make it open and then go and close it, and it'll just open it for you. Boom. You don't have to wait for the animation. So 16 million. Considering the fact that I got lucky with that ice peculiar, I actually got more in high sec than in low sec, or null sec rather. But the low sec one is pretty good. It's probably about twice as good as this, all things considered, or more. But yeah, I'm going to quickly stop it. I'm gonna make a quick phone call. How am I going to do this? I don't have anything to do. Hold on. You get to watch me make a phone call, apparently. I muted my mic. It's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. This is definitely the professional way of doing things. You got a true Central Web out of your low-sec box? Good job, Spoons. Just a normal one or a peculiar one? I know I'm not muted right this second. I'm on hold. All right. Unfortunately, after that guinea pig break, I am going to have to go, so that way I can try to figure out how to get a ride for my son to get home, so that way he can, I guess, cover. Either way, yeah. So I will see you guys on Thursday. But until next time, as I've said earlier, I have been Ash Rothy. I've been playing the game since 2010, talking about it since 2012, and I'm here to put you into context for you, my fellow Empyreans. Thank you guys for coming and watching and liking the stream. Big thanks and help to all of you who participate. Also, big extra special thanks to my top supporters: Abyssus, Aikawarazu Chan, Arkas Ilring, Belligerent Neckbeard, Black Rose Noble, Dajat Lemmont, Drake, Federation Frontline, Ganai, J. Kuhn, Lumi, Midnight Space Monkey, Milk, Not Just Fun, Punchinello, Seeds of Plenty, Serenolin with No Eyes, Sho'Danar, Syliana Vel'ash, Tgen Tgen, Nephilim, Grendel, V-Rod Cruiser, Yantey Lepouf, Zaul Nex, Zero, as well as my Immortal Tiers supporters, 745 MPSI, Erdenika the Queen, Ebolete, Erlitus, May, Malik Starfire, Mercuton, Neelam, LM1, Sheesh, and Rid. Thank you so much. Also, I do want to point out, before you guys go, make sure to like the stream, like I said. But if you have any feedback, like what is your priorities? And maybe I'll put out a poll or something about this. But like, I really want to work on increasing the quality of the stream and what you guys get for next year. We have some ideas. But if you guys have any feedback right now, I am really looking into it. So hit me up. Even if you've told me stuff before, go ahead and let me know again. Either hit me up on Discord or wherever, and or email, and that way I can kind of prioritize things as I'm trying to set things up. But all that said, I've been Ashrothi, the voice of New Eden, and until next time, I'll see you in space. Meow, meow, meow. You want to say hi too? Nope, you don't want to say hi. You just want attention. You want attention, but not picked up. Yeah. All right, bye.
Bring on the wrecking machine. For every city